Hi, welcome to my journey. I'm Sheree. Today we're getting out because the weather's nice. It's not too hot, not too cold. Um, and I wanted to go to Aldi's, right? And get a few things that I know Aldi's, carries that are fairly inexpensive there. And you can only get them there at, the cheapest price. So hold on, okay? Okay. So today I woke up, found out that little puppy Pitty has found another way, to try my patience, right? And I'm thinking to myself, you know, okay, the Pitty has dug another hole into the exterior. Somehow or another, this PD finds, it seems like she finds vulnerable places. But really, sometimes it's not that she finds vulnerable places, she just tears shit up, right? So, almost every piece of wood, right, has her teeth marks on it. Yes. Furniture, drawers, just wood in general, okay? Has her teeth marks on it. I don't know how you're gonna get through there. Yeah. So anyway, I had to patch up another hole that she dug outside of the house. She basically ripped off a piece of the siding and then started digging a hole into the wall. Okay, now she's already dug like 3 holes, right? One in the bathroom, one in the bedroom, and now one on the outside wall. Okay, this dog is something else, right? And I'm asking myself, is this dog dumb? Does this dog think that this makes her smart, right, to be destructive like this? Or is she trying to, say, well, if, the master puts up with this, then surely the master, loves me. I don't know, but I'm just, wondering if, this pity is really asking for too much of me, And I even asked the pity, I said, look, do you want me to find you another home? Because you're becoming too much. Right? And as soon as I said that, Snoopy comes up and she's like, no, don't worry about her. She'll grow out of it. Right? And then I'm thinking to myself, well, I guess if she grows out of it, we could say that, we bonded over some costly, emotionally straining situations. Okay? Right? And every time she does something, the question is, well, do you love her that much to keep her? Do you love her more than that to keep her? And it's just like, wow, why can't she be one of those dogs that, wants to prove that they love you because you throw a frisbee and they go catch it and bring it back and they play fetch and, stuff like that. But this is not her, right? Because I've tried. I bought her lots of toys, right? She'll play with the toys, but not with me, right? I'll throw the ball. She just runs after the ball, looks at the ball, and then comes back and, then jumps on me. And I'm like, what's wrong with her, right? What's wrong with her? I've done that with frisbees. I've done that with tennis balls, volleyballs, all of the chew toys. She won't fetch, period. At first, when I first got her, I thought she might be a fetch dog, right? But she's not a fetch dog. Well, if she is a fetch dog, she's not a fetch dog with me. Okay, let's put it like that. So anyway, I'm like, looking at her like, shit, I hope we get through this together, right? And it don't get worse. I mean, the teething got worse, right? Now the scratching scratching holes into the wall has gotten really bad. And that's why I was saying she's really very strong. I don't think it takes a whole lot of effort for her, to dig these holes that she's been digging. Because I'm looking at her feet and her nails are not damaged. She's not having no signs of injuries trying to dig a hole through a wall. I'm trying to figure out, is there a benefit of having a dog that can dig through a wall? I mean, there could be a benefit, I suppose. I guess if there's an apocalypse or an earthquake and you have a dog that's willing to rescue you by digging through all of the rubbish, or can actually just dig a hole through a wall and get to you and save you. Hell yeah, that sounds really romantic. Do I think it'll ever happen to me and my pity? No, I don't. So, is that a talent that she's developing that we'll never need? Probably. Yeah. So then, on my feed, I get a video from Wandering Fools, right? And Wandering Fools is like talking about how people are escaping into the non-reality just to be a content creator, right? And they are so far gone into the digital world that a lot of them, they don't even know what they're doing in this world, right? They just dive deep into their phones, deep into their cameras, and they don't pay attention to what's going on in this world. Okay? And then, to be so rude and not worry about the consequences just to have the shock effect to try to get people to watch your videos, has desensitized, people in general, right? And it caused me to think back that, okay, even though in our minds we may have thought that way, right? But we chose animation, right? We would find a caricature, right? Or an animal, and then we would animate that. And people like Bugs Bunny, people like Porky Pig, people like Daffy Duck, and who was the fat orange cat that loves pizza, right? The fat orange cat that loves people. Garfield, right? That we would, animate these people, right? And even some people, right? Scooby-Doo, and all of the characters in Scooby-Doo, we animated this, right? But what people are doing today is, they're using real people. And now, thank God, if they start, using animation, they won't actually have to, if they use AI, they won't actually have to do the whole skit, right? That they can actually, animate through AI, the skit that they were trying to do. Thank God, right? Thank God. Because they were going too far. However, there will be some who will, definitely try to say, no, this is real life, therefore you should watch it. And it's extreme and shocking, right? Okay. So, now, extreme and shocking for me was, let me go down here to, a gay club, right? A lesbian club, right? I hint at, I haven't dated, I haven't been in a relationship for 17 years. And now I'm wondering, is that because, I'm gay? So if I am gay, does that now make me a protected class in society where people can't humiliate me, make fun of me, try to take advantage of me, sexploit me, and all of these other things that, have been known to happen to bisexuals that have made them a protected class of people? And like I said, we'll see, right? Although there are, people out there who will say, no, you're not really gay, right? And then that's where my mind was to say, okay, now what really makes you gay? I mean, if you say you're gay and you don't have a relationship with somebody of the opposite sex, I mean, yeah, they can't prove that I've ever had, a relationship with someone of the opposite sex in decades, okay? So, now, even though I may not, they can't prove that I have sex with somebody of the same sex, is that really their business? Is it? your business to know that I would have sex or had sex with somebody of the same sex and therefore is gay, right? Basically, anybody can call themselves gay. They can mean gay as in happy, or they can mean gay as in bisexual, or they can mean gay as in, homosexual, right? And is it not true that not everybody out here has seen or caught a person in the act enough to call them gay, right? And in some instances, if you're a man, I guess a woman could rape another woman, but I don't know. The whole thing that women can have sex together is strange to me. But yeah, a man could, take another man, without his consent, right? Could have just started out like wrestling in Brokeback Mountain and turned into some, great situation. Oh yeah. So, I did take the long way to go to Aldi's. Normally I would go to the Aldi's in my neighborhood, but today, since I did want to do a little video today. I'm so used to doing my videos daily. Yeah, I do daily videos, and when I don't do a video, it feels like I hadn't contributed to my daily journal. That's how it feels, right? Because normally, what is a journal? A journal is where you document your thoughts, your feelings, sometimes even your activities, your desires, the things that piss you off, whatever, right? What you put into your journal, whatever you want. The difference is that you have to write. You have to write about it. Oh, and one of the things that surprised me last night that came down on my feed was Dee Mungo and her man got married. They did she called it a civil courthouse wedding, right? And she filmed it. It was in Poland. So that guy that we had seen, her with, that went to Africa, and had to deal with all of the evil eyes and shit that they was giving him, I was wondering, how they was going to work it out if they stayed together, right? And I'm sure she, have had all the respect in the world for this guy, right? Starting with her own family. Yes. Right? Because her own brother, kind of made it seem like he wanted the attention of her man, right? And we all think her brother is sort of, right? even though he does have a girlfriend. But like I said, men, you know, they stick it wherever they want to stick it, and they don't feel like just because they stuck it that means, they're stuck to it. Let me go in the store